Today we're here with Darrell Steed, a preeminent used car expert at NADA 2024, Las Vegas. So let's say that you wanted to acquire more vehicles from one of those channels. What would be the best place to do it?
For me, I would flip a coin between private party and service. Service is easier because it's right there, but private party is where you can control the narrative because you can be the right end user, get the cars that make sense for your store rather than just wishing at an auction. So it gives you that better control.
Okay, so now let's take a step back for a second. So just for like the average Joe that doesn't know what the difference between a service drive acquisition versus private party acquisition, what are the pluses and minuses of those? What are the differences in the vehicles, the quality of the vehicles, how quickly they sell, that sort of thing?
Well, service is probably the best because you know what's wrong with it or what it needs. Not to mention you already have that customer, so you're giving them an experience of not just fix or replace, but now you could possibly sell it, so you give them a different avenue. Private party is great because you're going to get those vehicles that are hard to get at the auction, because everybody that sends stuff to the auction, there's a reason why they send it. So private party's just looking for a different alternative. So if you give them a pathway that's not the old school dealership experience, they want to deal with that side of it. That's why CarMax has been successful. That's why dealerships that are more transparent. But if you can get service going, sales naturally grows because of the experience all the way around.
So you're also making profit when it comes to the repair order, the internal service growth. Maybe not every used car manager is paid on that, but the dealer is.
Yep. So it's funny you say that. So the group that I'm here with this time, Knight Automotive. So we switched to a more fixed operation side of it. So we centralized appraising. No pun intended, but using AccuTrade because it's super easy. Okay, but we went fixed ops and they were like, well, we don't get paid on that. I'm like, guys, do you not understand that the more cars we take in and put out on the front line, gross comes the moment that we start thinking about how we keep it coming. And so in 30 days, we've cleaned stuff up. Well, in 90 days, we've just started it, but in 30 days, cleaned it up. The turns almost doubled just by taking a different approach to
Is it really?
Do the cars right, then put them out there. And so, like AccuTrade, we're using the system, using the process.
So what period of time is this from, like, the 60
We started
days?
in December, and by the end of this month, we went from having a 14 churn, based on looking at Autometrics, to having, or a 7 churn, and now we're at a 14. But profitability's maybe 75% higher already, So let's just recap this for a second, just for everybody who's at home that's watching this, just to kind of break this down. And because I honestly, I love what you're saying. So right now, there's a lot of dealers that are saying used car values are dropping. They're volatile. Aging's increasing. There's more 60-day-old cars. There's more 90-day-old cars. And they'll even say in the Pacific Northwest, where you're at, that it's a tougher market. It's it's tougher to find cars. The market's a little bit softer. And in the midst of all this, your turn doubled and your profit's up 75%. Yes. And it really comes down to one thing. Really simple. Everyone wants to worry about profitability in the front end. And I understand that because I've been doing this for 20 years. But at the end of the day, if I get more cars and I'll say it like this because it makes it easier for people to understand. If I'm going to give you 100 pieces of candy right now, you pay nothing for them, but you get to charge 10 cents a piece. Do you want those 100 pieces of candy? Of course. Everyone says yes. Then why don't you treat cars the same way? If you're not going to make any front end profit, but you're going to get to make 10 cents or $1,000, why don't you want those? The more cars you buy, understanding the fixed op strategy, with some profit, you're going to get more trades, and trades is where it's at. But if you sit there and say, I only want to make $3,000, $5,000 a car, where are you doing that and replicating that hundreds of times?
So let's double click on that for a second. So a lot of dealers will say, well, right now, because of the market softening up, I want to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more risk averse, and I want to try to hold back just in case the cars age out a little bit. You're saying accelerate in spite of all that.
Push harder, move faster, price to market right out of the gate. The only ones that are doing that are saying, I want to hold my price way up here and hope I get it, and then when we get to panic, go to here.
So why do you think people are doing that?
It's partly the tools, the technology, but it's also partly having the right people. Like I've been telling everybody, I do consulting, and I'm a used car director for groups, is you can buy any tool you want, and there's a lot of good ones. If you don't have the right people or the understanding of it, it's just a tool. You've got to understand what you're doing and what's the exit strategy, the retail strategy, and the fixed op strategy. It's got to be holistic now.
It's got to be simple, too.
It's got to be simple. If it's more than 5 steps, people can't do it.
Amen.